Hi. So today's Friday, and I wanted to talk to you about how to support someone who's in emotional pain. So, how to support someone who's going through something hard in their life. So, I want you to think about a time in your life where you went through something that was quite hard. So, you experienced a loss or a failure of some kind, or you were ill, or you had experienced a rejection. And I want you to think back to that time, to the people that really helped you get through it, and also the people who didn't. The people who, when you were in a terrible state, really said the wrong things or did the wrong things for you, and it wasn't very supportive. So, maybe you went through a breakup, a really bad breakup, and your colleague at work who didn't know much about you says to you, "No, well, I don't know why you're in such a state. He seemed like such an asshole." Not a great comment. Maybe you had worked really hard on creating a business and it didn't work out, and it kind of collapsed. And your father said to you, "Well, I told you it wasn't a good idea to do this in the first place." Maybe you've experienced a loss of some kind, a death or a miscarriage, and somebody has said, "Well, you've just got to be strong and they're in a better place." Maybe, you didn't get that promotion you wanted, or maybe your child didn't make the team that they wanted to. And then somebody says, "Well, at least you tried, and that's the important thing." Maybe you were very ill, or you got hospitalized, or you had to go and have an operation, and you really wanted some privacy. And your mother, who you've got a strained relationship with, just storms into, your room and demands to be there, and shouts at you because, "Why are you being so selfish? I have a right to be here. I'm your mother." So I'm sure you can relate to some of those experiences where you've been in a bad space, and people have just settled on the wrong things that haven't helped you. So if you have people in your life who are going through some hard stuff, and I know a lot of people right now are going through some very tough things, but if you know someone who's going through a divorce or going through a breakup, if you know someone who's just experienced a loss or is in a state of grief, if you know someone who's really, they've lost their job, or they've been retrenched, or they're running a business that has failed or that has collapsed, or if you know someone who's ill, if you just know someone in your life who's going through something, I want to share a really simple technique. And I wish I could take credit, but I can't, because it was created by the really fabulous psychologist Susan Silk, and it's called ring theory. So ring theory is a very simple concept, and it works like this. The person who is in pain is in the center. Around them, the next ring around them, is the significant other person in their life. So either it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or really a best friend or a close family member. But there's usually one significant person there on the next ring. The ring outside of that is going to be that person's family. The ring outside of that are the friends. The ring outside of that are the colleagues. And then the ring outside of that are the acquaintances. So here's a little diagram that hopefully makes some sense to you. So on the inside here, we're going to talk about Ben. And Ben has just lost his job. So Ben is going to be at the center. Next to Ben is going to be, Ben is number one. He's the one that's affected. Next to him is going to be his wife, Kathy. The next ring out is going to be Ben's family, and close friends. The next ring out is going to be Ben's colleagues, and then the next ring out are just acquaintances in Ben's life. So here's the rule with ring theory if you know someone who's going through pain. The rule is that you can only bring comfort into the center of the circle, and you can only dump or emotionally kind of complain outside, towards the outside of the circle. So in other words, the person on the middle can vent outwards to anybody he wants to. He's the one that's in a state. So he can vent to Kathy, his wife, to his family, to his friends, to his colleagues. That's fine. Kathy, who's his wife, who's probably in quite a state that Ben's lost his job because now maybe they can't afford that nice holiday they've been planning all year. She's going to be going through some stuff herself, but she cannot dump in. She cannot come to Ben and complain to him about the fact that he's lost his job. She can complain outwards. So she can complain outwards to her friends, her family, her colleagues. Likewise with Ben's family. They can't come in to Kathy and to bend and dump towards the center of the circle. What were you thinking? And you could see that this company was in trouble, and why didn't you make any plans? That's dumping inward. You can only come into the circle to support. You can't bring your complaints and your emotional dumping towards the inside of the circle. So I think you kind of get the idea that Kathy can complain to the family then can complain to the friends can complain outwards. Anyone who is on the outside, if you are wanting to address anyone on the inner circles, you are there to comfort and to support. So, the colleagues can only support and comfort the friends, who can only support and comfort the family, who can only support and comfort the significant other, who can only support and comfort Ben. And this happens until the person in the center has been able to process whatever it is they need to process. And that's going to take as long as it takes. So I hope kind of that makes sense to you. I'm going to put it down now, but if you want to read up more about this, it's called Ring Theory by Susan Silk, so you can Google that. So the idea when someone is suffering is that you, or going through pain or loss or a sense of failure, is that you are there to support them. And support, guys, is not giving advice. If somebody in your life is in pain, you don't sit there and tell them how they should be feeling, what they should be doing, how they should be getting through this. People in a state don't want to hear advice. They just want to hear things like, I'm here for you. I don't know what you're going through, but I'll do whatever I can to support you. What support do you need? Can I buy you groceries for the week? Give me your kids' schedule. I'll go fetch them from school. Supportive stuff that is holding space for the person inside the circle. One of the things that people do a lot, which is really not cool to support someone in pain, is to compare experiences. So, when I lost my job, this is what I went through and this is what happened to me. Or, when I lost my job, this is what I did and I think you should do the same thing. Or, I don't know, I can't be around you right now because, you losing your job is just triggering like what happened with me last year and I can't deal with this, so I'm just going to leave. None of that is supportive. So people in a state of loss, people in grief, people who are just really at the bottom of their emotional barrel don't need to hear about somebody else's experience in that moment unless they ask. If the person inside the circle is asking, what did you do to get out of this? How did you find a way to feel okay again? Who did you go and see that helped you work through this? They are now asking for support. Then you can come in and give them the advice, but never give advice unsolicited. It's just a very simple technique. I really love the idea of it. Think about if you've got something to say to someone who's in a state, is it supporting them or are you dumping on them? And if you're dumping, turn around and dump towards the outside of the circle. Support in. So there's a last little view of the diagram, and it's comfort in, dumping out. And again, it's called Ring Theory by Susan Silk. So go and Google that and just think about people in your life who are going through some stuff and consider how you've been supporting them, and has it been workable or has it not been workable, and think a bit about that. So have a fantastic weekend ahead, and again, please send any questions of topics you'd like me to cover in these videos, and I will connect with you again next week, and I'll be posting times for my videos on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. So I'll see you then. Okay, everyone, bye.